Hiss. It hurts. Little Sakura Wanwan wakes up, feeling that her neck is not her own anymore. Orochimaru did show mercy, otherwise Sakura would have lost that blow. Ah, wake up. Go and light a fire. Naruto's sleepy voice sounded. After hearing this voice, little Sakura's restless heart calmed down instantly. Looking up, Naruto is sitting by the river, fishing. Okay. Little Sakura rubbed her neck and stood up. Only then did she realize that Sasuke was lying beside her. But in the next second, her expression gradually became stiff. It's not just Sasuke lying here, and a bunch of guys in fancy dress. Little Sakura can only judge their identity by the forehead protector on their heads. Mist shinobis, rock shinobis, cloud shinobis. Many. They were all lying dead on the ground, motionless. Little Sakura felt numb. These people. Oh, they wanted to grab our scrolls, and I have already killed them. Naruto lifted the branch, and the end of Chakra's silk thread was a flopping fish. He is also quite helpless. Originally, I thought that I could pass the customs honestly with 213 people. Results along the way. I don't know if I saw the scroll on his waist, or it was better to see him carrying the two teammates. Like desperate, wave after wave, it starved Naruto to death. The eyes are getting closer and closer to the tower. Naruto still decided to fix it first. Don't be dazed, hurry up and start a fire, wait a moment, wipe. Naruto was about to urge the little Sakura who was stunned. Suddenly, they sensed the arrival of a small team. Wait here, Naruto confessed, and his figure disappeared instantly. Then little Sakura heard, bang bang, a few times. Naruto came back quickly, holding a bloody scroll in his hand. Throw the scroll on the ground. As for the scrolls on the ground, there are already nearly 10 scrolls at this moment. Little Sakura felt like she was going numb. You take these scrolls and light a fire, hurry up, I'm hungry. Naruto glanced at little Sakura and said, this was definitely the most absent-minded dinner little Sakura had ever had. Fire with a scroll, Naruto grilled fish. One thing to say, Naruto's grilled fish technique is actually quite good. After all, I have practiced for so long, but little Sakura still didn't eat a few mouthfuls from start to finish. After dinner, Naruto continued to set off with Sasuke and little Sakura. There are still 3 unlucky guys who want to make a sneak attack on the road. But they were all knocked over by Naruto on the spot with one hand. That's all. In the second round of Chunon's assessment, the first team that cleared the customs was born. They were greeted by Gang ZT, one of the examiners who had been kicked by Naruto before. In previous years, it was not without early customs clearance. But after customs clearance, you can't leave for the time being. Sasuke was sent for simple treatment, and Naruto and little Sakura came to the lounge. You have passed the assessment first, which will give you a great advantage in the next assessment. Let's take a rest first. After we verify the scroll, you can leave. Gang ZT sent the 3 of them to the lounge and left. Before leaving, he left enough food and water for the 2 of them. Naruto didn't eat it. Verifying the scroll or something is a lie. With Orochimaru's arrival, the examinations in the entire examination room have been mobilized. On the way Naruto came, he also sensed a lot of Anbu's breath. But it's none of his business. Naruto went directly to the 8-sign seal space. A partnership with Orochimaru has been confirmed. Now, it's time to get down to business. Naruto. 9 Tails is still hanging in the cage, but he kept growling, and his cold eyes kept scanning Naruto. When seeing Mangekyo in Naruto's eyes, 9 Tails just knew that they could have been out constantly. Not only can't get out, but it is estimated that this kid will be manipulated like a doll. What puzzles 9 Tails is, why, the wood style for the purpose of first generation, and the blood of that evil clan, will appear on one person? Is this kid? Thanks for your hard work. Bye-bye. Naruto greeted Shadow Clone, and Shadow Clone disappeared immediately. Immediately, Naruto looked at the seal in the sealed space. 9 Tails was startled. Little, what do you want to do? Do what you always wanted me to do. Naruto glanced at 9 Tails and clasped one hand. Immediately, the chakra chains tied to Nine Tails suddenly became restless. Nine Tails was bundled into a big ball, with only one eye exposed. Sorry, oops, if you spill too much chakra, I'll have a hard time doing it. Naruto walked forward while talking. Stairs of nothingness appeared under his feet. He walked forward step by step, approaching the sealed forbidden technique step by step. Finally, came to the front of the seal. The above notation is very complicated. But Naruto seems to be able to vaguely understand. After all, that's what the fourth generation intended. Swish. Naruto tore it off sharply. Available when completely torn off. Snapped. A big hand patted the back of his hand. No, the voice is very warm and gentle. Although it is an undoubted tone, it is difficult to make people feel dissatisfied. It was a blonde figure, wearing an imperial robe, with the 4 characters, 4th Hokage, majestic and dignified. This moment, Naruto felt the restlessness in his right eye and seemed to calm down for a moment. Don't break the seal, Naruto. Fourth generation looked at Naruto with helpless and distressed eyes. Why? Naruto asked blankly, spreading his hands. Immediately, he pointed to the 9 tails inside. You left this big guy to me, didn't you let me get its power? Minato was taken aback. Naruto has too much information in this sentence. He instinctively turned his head to look in the direction Naruto pointed. In the next second, his eyes widened. This is 9 tails. Minato was startled. This big guy who was sealed by chakra's chains, is he really the 9 tails who risked his life to seal it? It's 9 tails, of course, Naruto said lightly. Don't you recognize what you have sealed in my body? Naruto. Minato's expression gradually became more complicated, and his heart became more and more distressed. He reacted. This kid seems to know everything. But he still couldn't help asking, do you know who I am? I know. Naruto replied simply, 4th Hokage of Konoha, Gold Flash of the 3rd Ninja War, ended the war and guarded the village before dying. Your Yanyan hangs in front of Konoha's Hokage building, looking at Konoha every day. Your photo hangs on the wall of 3rd Hokage's office. 3rd generation order. There was a flash in Minato's eyes. I see, did the adults of 3rd generation tell you? Naruto glanced at Minato. Hee. Immediately, he stretched out his hand again and touched the talisman. Minato was startled and hurriedly stopped him. Naruto, don't want it. This is a spell to stabilize the seal, if you tear it apart. Minato's voice stopped abruptly. At this moment, Naruto stared at him blankly. Those eyes have no emotion, as if they have no soul. Minato noticed something. Realized what? Naruto, you. How are you doing? Naruto raised an eyebrow. What does this have to do with you? With you guys? You should know what Jinchuriki's life should be like. As Naruto said, he was going to continue to break the seal. Minato froze for a moment, but his speed is still so fast, stopping Naruto again. But want to say something, but don't know how to speak. Naruto. Go away. Naruto said lightly, but his voice was not warm. Poor person must have something mean. Minato tried everything to protect Konoha. But it is at the expense of his wife and children to achieve his wish. The village was indeed guarded, but the wife who loved him was gone. The child has lived like a rat on the street for more than 10 years. Minato could only recognize Obito back then. Whenever the 7th class of the year was in trouble, it could be a step faster. No shit. Naruto. Minato's expression gradually became painful. But besides calling Naruto's name, he didn't know what to say. Call. Naruto exhaled. Then just watch quietly. Swish, a chakra chain protruded from Naruto's back. This is. Minato looked startled, but the distance was too close, and it was too late for him to dodge. The chain directly bound Minato and lifted it high. Don't you have confidence in me? Naruto looked up at Minato. Don't you think that I must be able to control this power? That's why you stuffed 9 tails into my body. Then what are you worried about now? Boom. Minato was pressed directly on top of the cage. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief, and finally touched the seal again. Naruto. Don't. Minato wanted to struggle, wanted to stop. It is said that the current Minato, although it is only a chakra consciousness. But then that chakra was left behind to prevent Nine Tails from running amok. The strength is definitely not weak, but the power of adamantine sealing chains can even seal chakra aggregates like Nine Tails. Natural restraint. There is no obstacle between Naruto and the seal. However, just when Naruto was about to tear it off. No, Naruto. A slender palm pressed onto Naruto's. Immediately afterwards, a beautiful figure with red hair appeared in front of Naruto. At this moment, Naruto secretly laughed. It can be counted. Whether to tear the seal or not is actually not his goal today. The scarlet in his eyes flashed away. Right eye pupil power, activate. The immobile Nine Tails, with only one eye sticking out. Suddenly, Nine Tails' eyes were extremely scarlet. The same Mangekyo pattern as Naruto stands out on it. The will that gradually calmed down was sent directly into Nine Tails' body by Naruto. In this instant, Naruto suddenly has an inexplicable connection with Nine Tails. Him now. The control of Nine Tails has reached a new level. Ask for flowers. Wait until Nine Tails' consciousness is fully harnessed. Perfect Nine Tails mode, it will come naturally, right? Naruto raised an eyebrow. With one hand holding it empty, the restraint on Nine Tails was once again increased. Next, leave it to time. Naruto, having done all this, took back Mangekyo. The dead fish eyes were restored again, and looked at Kushina in front of him. The Minatos have noticed the strangeness in Naruto's eyes. Your eyes? Kushina was a little surprised. Minato was even more shocked. As that? Sharingan. Naruto, why do you? Naruto looked up at Minato. Surprised? After you died, many things happened. Naruto frees Minato. Their son was the guy who had just been sent into Nine Tails' body to obliterate Nine Tails' consciousness. Not him. Naruto doesn't have much affection for these two. To Konoha, there is no sense of belonging. The only thing with emotion is his small room of less than 30 square meters. So the situation now. Not some parent-child recognition convention. Current relationship. Nor is it any parent and son. After you die, there is no fifth Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen is sitting in the Hokage building again. Konoha was hit hard, and they were the first to liquidate Uchiha. Now Uchiha has only 2 brothers left. The big brother is rebellious, and the younger brother stayed in Konoha and is my teammate. Naruto said with a blank face. Minato and Kushina's expressions became more serious. Danzo took all of Uchiha's eyes, and mine. Naruto pointed to his eyes. It was the Uchiha chief, Uchiha Fugaku, who sent me before Uchiha fell. Without these eyes, I am afraid that I have been controlled by illusion for more than 10 years now. Minato's breath gradually became heavy. Kushina trembled slightly. Naruto spread his hands, and his goal was achieved. Are you too satisfied with this answer? Relying on only one soul whose original body has almost disappeared. Definitely can't compete with Nine Tails. Adding an Ashura soul chakra is about the same. But the problem is, Ashura's soul chakra seems to have not yet manifested. Naruto couldn't tell. He could vaguely sense it, but wasn't sure. Get Nine Tails Jinchuriki if you don't want to sign in to get permission. Better to convince Minato and Kushina. His right eye can put the consciousness of 2 people into Nine Tails. That's called stability, but it's useless to say too much. He also didn't intend to blacken the couple with his words. Something. Look at it, listen to it, feel it for yourself, it's better than anything else. Naruto formed seals with both hands, and a shadow clone appeared. Speak to my shadow clone if you have any questions, and you can ask him any questions. Naruto said, 140, expressionlessly. This apparent sense of estrangement made the Minatos even more heartbroken. Since neither of you want me to break the seal, then convince me. Otherwise, when the 2 of you dissipate, I will continue. Swish. Naruto left the sealed space. At this moment, Gang ZT just opened the door and walked in. Your scrolls are correct, but your teammates may need to rest for a while. Steel Iron said. But don't worry too much. As the benefits that come out first, I can briefly reveal to you that the next one is a personal battle. Okay, you can go now. Remember to come to the meeting place on time to participate in the assessment 4 days later. If you are late, you will automatically give up the assessment. Gang ZT left after speaking. There is no such thing as checking the scroll at all, I just want to create the illusion that the defense here is sufficient. Naruto got up immediately. But he didn't leave directly, but picked up the rice ball that Gang ZT had brought in just now. Do you have a bag? I'll pack it up and go. Gang ZT was a little confused. No. Why didn't you eat it just now? Not hungry. Naruto said frankly. I have a bag here, Naruto. Little Sakura said in time, and took out a plastic bag from the ninja bag. It was originally intended to be used as a simple kettle during the assessment period, but... Thank you. Naruto took the bag, put the rice balls in it, and then looked at the little Sakura's portion. Do you want yours? Before little Sakura could speak, Naruto picked it up and put it in a bag. Thank you. After speaking, Naruto walked forward with the bag in hand. In the 8-sign seal space, both the Minatos and Shadow Clone saw this scene. Kushina came next to Shadow Clone with a blank face. He hesitated for a moment, trying to open the topic. Naruto, that girl, is very gentle. Naruto turned his head and glanced at Kushina. It's okay. The indifferent tone made Kushina suddenly not know what to say. He could only ask Minato for help with his eyes, but Minato had nothing to do at the moment. Don't act like I'm some big villain. At this time, Naruto spoke. The main body is like this, and the mind is actually very delicate. It's just that the situation is sudden, and the main body doesn't know how to contact you. We've run out of tears at a very young age, emotions and stuff, we've run out a long time ago. Shadow Clone formed a mudra with both hands, and chakra overflowed and began to pour on the two of them. Although he said he wanted to leave, he actually gave me the instruction to keep you for as long as possible. Instead of trying to make the main body give up breaking the seal, you should think about why he did this. Naruto's Shadow Clone, the level is LV9, can perfectly inherit Naruto's thinking. After such a persuasion, the effect is remarkable. Minato's expression was extremely bitter. Kushina even sobbed secretly. And at this moment, Naruto has already walked out of the examination room. Heading towards home. At first, it was sparsely populated, after all, it is a suburb. But moved forward with Naruto. More and more figures saw him. Found him. One after another gloomy gaze swept over. Naruto adjusted the perception to the maximum, and everyone could hear the foul language clearly. Oh, come back so early? It seems to be a failure, fortunately. Let this monster become a Chunin, and it's over. What on earth is the third-generation master thinking? He should be directly disqualified from the exam. This kind of monster, after becoming a Chunin, can only kill its companions. Every word fell into my ears, not just Naruto. The two people in the sealed space are also very clear. Naruto. Kushina couldn't bear the emotional outburst, hugged Shadow Clone, and cried because of the sound. Shadow Clone was unimpressed, but secretly watching Minato's state. This one is willing to sacrifice himself and his wife to protect the village. The great Buddha who is willing to pour everything into the son who has just come into the world. When making a decision, I am afraid that I have already made up my mind. Minato knew exactly what Jinchuriki would be like. 18. A good awareness does not mean that you can accept it after witnessing it with your own eyes. Go away, don't do your business. At this time, Naruto has come to a shop. But he was kicked out by the shopkeeper. This store is sophisticated and started from the root. The current policy towards Naruto is not the same as it was towards White Fang back then. Just come here. I just want a bottle of milk, even slightly expired. Naruto still wants to struggle, but General Mo, who pretended to be the boss, couldn't make Naruto happy. Hurry up, or I'll yell. Don't think you're a ninja, I'm afraid of you. Many people gathered around. Naruto stood where he was, silently bearing the abuse and accusations from the villagers. And in the sealed space, Minato, already clenched fist. 4.0. You know why he took the rice ball away. Shadow Clone makes up the knife in time. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to eat normal food at all. Praise. The voice just fell. A burst of intense chakra burst forth. Son of Hokage. Can't even eat a normal meal, so humble that I can't even buy an expired milk. Minato was still able to restrain the sadness in his heart. But Kushina couldn't bear it. I said it long ago, Minato. Kushina's red hair fluttered, and her tone was extremely sad and extremely gloomy. Why do you want my son to bear everything from your Konoha? Just because you're Hokage? You can't even protect your son well. Are you worthy of being a Hokage? Are you worthy of being a father? At night, the starry sky is dotted. Naruto lay on the small bed, looking at the starry sky outside the window. Today's dinner is rice balls brought from the tower. It has no taste, like jazzwax, but Naruto felt cautious. Don't ax, but I have never eaten such a delicious thing. The plan went well. Orochimaru must be fine. Standing on Orochimaru's point of view, use Honkai Konoha as a feint attack, aiming at third generation. With one more Nine Tails Jinchuriki as a helper, the fixed plan is beneficial. And Nine Tails here, it depends on how he operates in the next less than 4 days. Have to say, although the ability of the right eye is not his mind reflection. But now it seems that it is really easy to use. It can force the conscious body into a chakra like a tailed beast. To some extent, this is equivalent to a limited distinguished heavenly god's illusion. But the upper limit of this technique doesn't stop there. Jinchuriki is to seal the tailed beast into the body. As for him, he sealed the human will into the body of the tailed beast. It is equivalent to replacing a soul for the tailed beast. 11. The soul of the original body might not be able to replace young Nine Tails. But add a Minato and it's more than enough. It doesn't even need Kushina to play, he still has 70% usage rights after all. And as for Kushina's conscious attribution, Naruto raised his eyebrows. Going to control Nine Tails together is a bit of a waste. But the ninja world is not limited to the Nine Tails. Kushina is good at sealing technique, so, at this moment, Naruto suddenly thought of Gaara with panda eyes. Gaara is not the point. The focus is on the crane inside Gaara. If Kushina can replace Shuzuru's consciousness. Naruto shook his head. Thinking about this now, it's still far away. The Nine Tails inside him was Pain's target. Add a one tail, wouldn't it be? Naruto froze for a moment. Pain can't deal with him in Eight Tails state, so he's afraid of a hook? It seems that it has been put on badly for too long, and the salted fish is almost to the bone. But that's a bit of a long way off. Convincing Minato and Kushina first is the most important thing. And at this moment, the progress is almost there. In the 8-sign seal space, Kushina has gone crazy. With one arm on Naruto's shadow clone, she cursed at Minato. You still have fantasies about that old man? Do you still think he has difficulties? Think about how my hometown was destroyed, and think about why you gave this child my last name. Isn't it because my family is gone, and where was Konoha back then? Where were Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo? Shadow Clone listened silently and watched silently. Silently provided chakra to the Minato couple. Minato lowered his head without saying a word, and clenched his fists tightly. Angry? No, is disappointed. Konoha, it shouldn't be like this. Hokage, it shouldn't be like this. His child should not be like this. Struggle for power, jealousy and doubts, Uchiha, as the #1 wealthy family in Konoha, will be wiped out directly. To Naruto's words, Minato was not without suspicion. But he couldn't explain where Naruto's eyes came from. This is his child, absolutely his child. Gold hair, blue eyes. And now because of the blood, the Sharingan who has red. Think about it, why Master Tsunade is so disappointed in Konoha, and never goes back home. Master Jiraiya. You found the name of the child from his book, but how many times a year do you see him? Aren't they more suitable to be Hokage than you? You never thought about it, why would you be a young boy to be Hokage? It's not that you are obedient to Konoha's senior management. Is it that difficult for you to be a good father? Namikaze Minato. You make me sick. Kushina vented her emotions. Consciousness that remains as a chakra thought. Such strong emotions are very consuming to chakra. Shadow Clone has a lot of chakra, and even so, it can't maintain the emotional catharsis between the two. That's not a bad thing. Shadow Clone would rather be drained if he could. But Kushina. Minato gritted his teeth. In just one afternoon, everything he saw, heard, and felt. Let him feel no better than Kushina, but he still has the last sliver of reason inside. But Naruto wants to tear off the seal, he wants to. It shouldn't be like this. Minato didn't know how to say it. Sad and furious Kushina is even less likely to listen. My son can do whatever he wants. If he didn't have a father who loved the village for everything, why would he come to Nine Tails for help? Namikaze Minato, you are no longer worthy of calling your son's name. Go and treat Konoha as your son. Kushina has clearly lost his mind, and Minato, disappointed with the village, guilty of his son, guilty of Kushina, is devouring him. Shadow Clone knew that now, it was time for him to speak. I really didn't expect your reaction. As soon as Naruto spoke, Kushina immediately calmed down halfway. Minato also looked over with a guilty face. Don't you want to axe? Why do I know your identities? Naruto looked at Minato, and finally his eyes fell on the seal of 663. I just feel lost. The villagers call me the Demon Fox, but I am obviously not. 17. Everyone has parents, but I didn't have them, until Nine Tails told me everything. Naruto paused. Third generation is trying to use me as a weapon of war to frighten the other 4 great ninja villages, so as to stabilize his power. I don't want to do this, but I can't escape, and I will be caught if I escape. Unless I can really control Nine Tails, I can't think of any other way. Naruto finished. He glanced at Minato, who was absent-minded, and then at Kushina, whose tears flowed down his face. Now, I just stopped delivering chakra, and you're gone. I don't want you to disappear, and neither does the main body. But can you please do me a favor? Don't let me bear all this again. What did I do wrong? Naruto's tone was so flat. But the voice just fell. Minato and Kushina hugged him at the same time. Both bodies were trembling. Kushina broke down in tears and Minato gritted his teeth. You're right, kid. It was me who was wrong, it was me. Minato fought back tears, but couldn't stop falling. This moment, a father's mindset, at last, began to change. Shadow Clone chatted with the Minato couple until late at night. When Shadow Clone's chakra finally runs out, Naruto, who got the feedback, was instantly overjoyed. It's basically done, much faster than he expected. He originally planned to use the next time to let the Minato couple experience his life immersively. Unexpectedly, the speed of progress would be so fast. Thanks to Danzo for that. If it weren't for General Mo's opening to him the way he dealt with White Fang back then, Kushina could break through easily. But Minato, who used to be Hokage, may not be so easy to figure out. Swish. Naruto returns to the Nine Tails space. It was found that both of them were about to disappear. Obviously, the mood swings are still very big now. Naruto didn't dare to delay, quickly summoned 2 shadow clones, and came behind the concierge. Used chakra to maintain the consciousness of the two. This anxious look fell into the eyes of the Minato couple. They looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Naruto. You suffered. Minato, whose body was gradually solidified, said in a complicated tone. Naruto was silent. What are you going to do? Minato asked suddenly. Using chakra to maintain the existence of the two of us is not the way. Time is limited, I can't help you much, but chakra is not a problem, Naruto said. Third generation has been restricting my growth and preventing me from getting too much exposure to ninjutsu, but my amount of chakra is still sufficient. As Naruto said, he looked up at Nine Tails in the cage. And with this guy around, chakra won't be a problem for me in the future. As Naruto said, he once again manifested the steps with his mind, leading directly to the sealing technique. Minato stopped him again. standing in front of the steps. Don't do this, Naruto. Minato's tone remained firm. Naruto frowned. I thought my shadow clone had already told you. That's why I want to stop you all the more, Naruto, Minato interrupted. And at this time, Kushina also followed with a flicker. Yes, Naruto, listen to your father, we won't stop you anymore. Naruto was silent. Fugaku. The eyes given to you by the Fugaku patriarch can make you shift your consciousness, right? Minato said. Naruto's brow tightened. Yes. This is my plan, I am going to become Nine Tails. You don't have to. Minato became anxious when he heard this. Let's not talk about whether you can defeat Nine Tails' consciousness, and... Naruto shook his head and interrupted, even if I fail, I don't want to be a puppet for the purpose of third generation. Get out of the way, if you are worried that I will get revenge on Konoha after I become Nine Tails, then you are right to worry. I would rather die than continue this disgraceful life. Naruto. Kushina grabbed Naruto's hand, it's not like that. You can listen to your father, okay? Naruto showed a puzzled expression. Let me go for you, boy. Minato smiled slightly and came to his wife and son. At this moment, he is no longer Konoha's Gold Flash. At this moment, he is just a father who wants to make up for his son. Since it is to transfer consciousness, then your mother and I are the better transfer objects. Let's try it, Naruto. If it works, your mother and I can watch you grow up and grow up. What you want to do, we can help you achieve it. We owe you too much, give me a chance to make it up, okay? Every word of Minato is so sincere, but after he finished speaking, a trace of coldness flashed in his eyes. At this point Minato wants nothing more. I can accompany my son even for a second. I can help my son even a little bit. I can make up for my son even once. Enough. Even though, the son's goal is to destroy the entire Konoha. Naruto heaved a sigh of relief, as expected. It can only be said that the hearts of parents in the world are pitiful. Then Minato can only be sent to reunite with the remaining soul of the original body. Are you sure? Trust us, kid. Both Minato and Kushina have loving faces. Naruto didn't pull too much either. According to the original plan, he actually wanted to keep Kushina. But it's over, never mind, so be it. Nor does he particularly need strength, fair trade. You gave me the perfect Nine Tails Jinchuriki. I give you a chance to make amends. The three of them walked towards the sealing technique step by step. Naruto's hand touched the restriction again. He paused for a moment. He glanced at the two of them again. The two also returned encouraging glances. Naruto held it with one hand, and the chakra chain that bound Nine Tails began to move. Nine Tails' eyes popped out. Still cold, but there is a hysterical madness in the depths of the eyes. The consciousness of the original body was only anger. So Naruto is not worried that if Minato and Kushina go in, there will be situations such as going through the gang. Naruto exhaled again. If you guys fail, I will still stick to the original choice. I hope you can understand, Naruto said. After that, without waiting for the two to say something, a burst of scarlet suddenly flickered in his eyes. Almost at the same time, the same pattern lit up in the minds of the Minatos, as well as in the eyes of Nine Tails. Nine Tails couldn't move, but Minato and Kushina looked at each other. There is determination in each other's eyes. Konoha bears me. Konoha deceived me. If this helps my son, then they will do whatever it takes. Swish. Early morning. Naruto opened his eyes. The warm sunshine made him feel a little tingling. Wake up to zero. Wash up. Naruto boiled a pot of boiling water. Today's breakfast is the leftover rice balls from yesterday, and a cup of instant noodles. But at this time, in Naruto's mind, a voice appeared. Breakfast should be nutritious, Naruto. Go to the street to buy milk and eggs, I will teach you how to do it. If they don't sell, their shop will be demolished. What is the experience of parents living in their own heads? Naruto is feeling it now. You have to eat well. If one bowl is not enough, you will not feel full. You have to take a walk after a meal, and you can't run away for healthy digestion. Minato and Kushina merged very successfully. Although the consciousness of Nine Tails has not been completely wiped out, it is impossible to be completely wiped out. But for now, it does not pose any threat to Naruto. Naruto spent the whole day jumping on and off the rooftops of Konoha. For the two of them, they walked around Konoha. In October of Konoha 48, that is the day Naruto was born. It was destroyed once, rebuilt, restored, plus changes over the past 12 years. Konoha at this time, except Hokage Rock and Hokage Building, and some large buildings. For others, there is still a big gap between the impressions of the Minato couple. At dusk, Naruto came to Ichiraku Ramen Restaurant and had a ramen. Warm hospitality by the owner Ichiraku. Minato and Kushina also reminisce with the spiritual connection with Naruto. Back home, Naruto turned off the mental connection and took a shower. Looking at 877's self in the mirror, Naruto's dead fish eyes gradually changed. Still no emotion at all, it is a pool of stagnant water. But now, it does have a soul, and there are two. Sitting on the bed, Naruto closed his eyes, and his thoughts came to the 8 trigram space. Just one day. There are no longer only cold cages here. He appeared in a bright living room. The living room is not big, with a sofa, a coffee table, and fruits that are manifested in spiritual tools. Kushina is weaving the scarf, and the chakra threads are intertwining themselves. Minato, on the other hand, was writing something with a pen on the table not far away. Far away, far away. A huge fox is sleeping soundly on the other side of the cage. This, Naruto was a little surprised. You are back. Kushina immediately stood up, and Minato also put down what he was doing and walked over. Naruto is still a little uncomfortable. But it feels like, seems good too. He suddenly envied this kind of life a little bit. Carefree, you can get what you want. The so-called infinite Tsukuyomi, I'm afraid I can't do this, right? Think here. Naruto suddenly didn't want to work hard anymore. This is the Konoha map I drew, Naruto. Minato walked over with a smile. A snap of the fingers. Immediately, a model of Konoha appeared in front of Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened. This model is basically similar to the real Konoha. This. Naruto looked up at Minato. Minato still has a warm smile on his face, but he always feels that this smile. It's kind of weird. I can't tell what's weird, but it's just weird. No matter what you do, Naruto, Papa and Mama are by your side. If you just want to vent your dissatisfaction. Minato raised his finger, and a miniature Nine Tails immediately appeared in the Konoha model, at the location of the Hokage building. From here, you can deal the heaviest blow to Konoha, but they will return quickly, so be careful. Minato snapped his fingers again. Inside the model, miniature wood leaf green vests appeared one after another. From all directions, the mini Nine Tails soon surrounded, and various ninjutsu emerged one after another. In the end, the sealing class worked together to forcibly seal the mini Nine Tails. This is just a prediction based on my understanding of Konoha back then. I don't know how Konoha will develop now, but it shouldn't be slower than I predicted. Minato spoke slowly. Naruto's expression became more, shocked. I understand the reasoning, but you are turning black too fast, right? They also tried to prevent me from breaking the seal yesterday. Today I started to prepare how to destroy Konoha. So, I'm not suggesting you go on the offensive directly. That would not achieve much good results, and would easily fail. Konoha cannot be solved by one Nine Tails. As Minato said, he glanced at Kushina, who immediately gave him a cold brow, and gave him a reassuring look. Naruto saw it and raised his voice. And what if I launch the tailed beast bomb from a distance? Naruto's spiritual power surged. Following Minato's appearance, a Nine Tails appeared in Konoha Suyuen. He also imitated the appearance of tailed beast bomb, and sent a precise blow to Konoha. You already know tailed beast bomb? Minato was a little surprised. And Kushina is a little proud, that is, I don't know whose son it is. Naruto nodded. I was hunted down by the roots before, and I was forced to turn on the tailed beast mode once, with 3 tails, and released a tailed beast bomb once. Roots? Minato's face turned cold, and Kushina's red hair fluttered even more. Danzo, that old bastard, is so gutsy, tear him up tomorrow. In the end, I was suppressed by the third generation. The two sang together, and I also discovered the anomaly at that time. Naruto nodded. Then, he looked at Minato again. I don't intend to directly destroy Konoha. The follow-up pursuit will be too troublesome, and once I defect, other ninja villages, and some organization that aims to collect tailed beasts. They will all be watching me. There's a guy named Orochimaru who's going to do the last round of the Chunin exam, and I'm going to play it by ear. Naruto reveals his plan. He saw it. Minato's blackening was very successful, and Kushina's blackening was very thorough. This is not normal. Kushina is still understandable. It's only natural. But Minato. Naruto quietly glanced at the cage in the distance. Guess. It's the reason for the 9 tails. The two occupied most of 9 tails' consciousness, or they successfully merged, but they still retained their main consciousness. So, that Minato who used to be called Little Sun. It just became like this now. Naruto is looking forward to it. About the plan of Honkai Konoha. So far, it still stays at the level of a wave of Orochimaru. Hit if you can, and run if you can't. It's said to be a plan, but it's basically improvisation. But Minato is blackened. Everything seems to be resolved soon. Just this modeling alone shows Minato's professionalism. The former Hokage lived in another way. With a heart full of anger, returned to Konoha. Are you sure it's him? Before the hospital bed, third generation acts. Enko nodded weakly. Yes, Lord Third Generation, he really came back. It was my fault for not being able to stop him. Third Generation shook his head. Don't think too much, just recover from your injuries. When leaving the ward, Third Generation looked solemn. Orochimaru is back. He didn't even have to guess the purpose of coming back. Destroy Konoha, and then assassinate him, the bad old man. After all, he was the disciple who brought him up single-handedly. Third Generation is too clear. Master Third Generation, the last group of candidates will come out soon. Do you want to terminate the assessment? Third Generation waved his hand. It's okay, the assessment continues. Don't get confused, just strengthen your guard. Let's go and see this year's candidates. Third Generation waved his hand and went straight to the third examination room. An Orochimaru. A traitor. It's not enough to scare Konoha into terminating the Chunin assessment. 3 days later. Naruto, good morning. Finally, it was time for the third assessment. The 7th shift met on time. Naruto arrived last, and little Sakura greeted him warmly. Morning. Naruto responded, then glanced at Sasuke. It looks quite normal. A person is sitting on the railing and posing in a contemplative state. It's not like you're skeptical about life. Probably, I was thinking about Orochimaru's words. Naruto didn't point it out either. Is this your Uchiha teammate, Naruto? His chakra is so cold. The happiest time of Kushina every day is sharing perspective with Naruto. He was not like this when he was a child. Naruto responded, but after that incident, he became very cold. What's your relationship? How is it? It's a normal companionship, I can't tell. Naruto paused, he can't beat me. That's good, that's good. The 7th class departs. Soon, we came to the third examination room. The rest of the candidates have all arrived. It feels a lot less, but there are all the people that should be there. Konoha 12 Little Strong. Team Gaara, Yin Ninja, Rain Shinobi, and some passers-by A, B, and C are all there. Third Generation is standing on the stage. The third stop is the personal battle. The official game will present everything to the audience. You are all the elites and representatives of the villages. I hope you can show your strength without reservation and leave no regrets. Third Generation is speaking on stage. Kushina also kept complaining in the 8 trigrams closed space. It's still so long-winded. The same rhetoric is said every time. Isn't he tired? That's not bad. Naruto responded lightly. Every time he came to class with me, he said more than this. Class? Minato also came over. What class are you having? Of course it's the Will of Fire class. Every time I get hurt, as long as I show enough frustration, he will show up on time. Kushina's voice suddenly became a little angry, because he's watching you, Naruto. Minato, this is the third generation project you used to talk about every day. Your house was sold by him, and your son can't eat normal food every day. He still wants to brainwash your son into a fool like you, do you care? Don't worry, I will let him look you and me in the eyes and apologize to Naruto. Is an apology enough? He made his son suffer for 12 years, and an apology is enough. Huh? There was another row. Naruto silently turned off the spiritual connection. Judging from his experience in the past few days, within half an hour, the fight would never end. Minato is always the one who gets angry, but Minato has been busy these days. First, he learned about the missing information in the past 10 years, and then asked him to go to some designated locations to observe and evaluate Konoha's current strength. Minato has already started to arrange the plan. This month is the preparation time for you. It is also the time to notify the results of the qualifiers for the names of all countries and arrange related matters. During this period, collect information on intelligence opponents, know yourself and the enemy, and anticipate those who may fight against each other. After the candidates finished listening, they all secretly looked at some strong opponents. Ask for flowers. The 7th class has gained the attention of the Sand Shinobi team and the Sound Ninja team. Gaara and the others are rushing to Naruto. On the other hand, Itonin came for Sasuke. Besides, Naruto noticed a look from Yukushi Kabuto. According to Orochimaru, someone who is about the same strength as Kakashi now. In the anime, this time should have gone to Sasuke, who was in a coma and was repelled by Kakashi. But apparently not now. Naruto checked his eyes and glanced at Orochimaru in the stands. He is now wearing Itonin's forehead protector, and there is basically no camouflage on his face. Yigao is bold, just standing in the shadow of the stands. 3rd generation only needs to look up to see him. Zero Orochimaru was also watching Naruto. The moment the two met their eyes, Orochimaru nodded politely. Come on, draw your battle numbers in turn. I will walk to you one by one, and I can only take one. Enko, who had recovered, walked to each examinee in turn. Naruto still got one. It's as if nothing has changed. Until the 3rd generation project announced the battle table. Naruto narrowed his eyes, although I knew it from the beginning. Random, in fact, is equal to shady. But when the battle table came out, Naruto couldn't help but look at 3rd generation. Number 1 is him, and number 2 to fight against is Xiao Li. Tisk. Naruto spat lightly. In the anime, Lee faces off against Gaara. And Gaara's opponent is Xiao Li's teammate, Neji. Naruto wanted to see if the enhanced version of Xiao Li could beat Gaara up. It seems that the object to be tested now has become me. Naruto thought secretly. Xiao Li has always been very strong, even in the anime, and even more so now. It's just that it was used to test the strength of Sand Shinobi Jinchuriki before. But now, the person who wants Xiao Li to test him has become him. Besides, Sasuke's opponent is Yukushi Kabuto. Naruto glanced at Orochimaru again. It is worthy of being a master and apprentice. The word shady scene can be regarded as understood by the two of them. The first group is Naruto and Xiao Li. Naruto received the signal from Kushina and Minato before the battle started. Helpless, opened the spiritual connection. This kid is Guy's student, it must be Guy's student, those eyebrows look like it. Kushina couldn't wait to shout as soon as she came up. Yes. I have practiced with Senior Guy with him, and I am a very good friend. For Xiao Li, Naruto still has a good impression. In the past, Guy sometimes forgot to pay for the meal, and Xiao Li would pay for it out of his own pocket, using a few pitiful steel shops to buy the meal. It is said that there is no lack of nutrition. During this period, sometimes under Ambu's supervision, Naruto couldn't buy food in the system. As a result, the two of them did have a difficult time as brothers and sisters. Have you ever practiced with Guy? Then your physical skills must be very good, Naruto? Not at all. Naruto shook his head. 3-220. Dame didn't let Senior Guy teach me taijutsu, it was just common physical training. But Senior Guy still secretly taught me 2 moves. At this moment, Minato spoke in a deep voice. He doesn't want you to be exposed to other physical skills that are too advanced. Otherwise it will be difficult to control after you control 9 tails. That's true. But when the words came out of Minato's mouth, I always felt a little awkward. Blackening is 3 times stronger. Naruto is getting more and more curious now. Minato is working on a plan recently. Are you confident, son? Kushina asks, if necessary, mom and dad can help, don't worry. It's okay. The corner of Naruto's mouth hooked slightly. He wants to test my strength, so let him see it later. Naruto walked to the middle of the ring, and Xiao Li had been waiting for him for a long time. Except for the 2 people who are fighting, everyone else please retreat to the viewing platform. The sick child Moonlight Hayate coughed twice, but seeing that both sides were ninjas from Konoha, he still took care of him. It's good to decide the winner. If you feel that there is danger, stop in time. After speaking, Moonlight Gale retreated. The 2 didn't fight each other for the first time. Xiao Li started to warm up by bouncing around on the spot. Naruto looked at his calf. It's still tied. Gee, don't you plan to take it off? Yes, Mr. Naruto. Xiao Li kept warming up. You haven't come to practice with Mr. Guy for a long time, I want to let you. Oh well. Naruto silently turned to distance himself. The field is very large, about 15 meters. Naruto stopped. Are you ready? Mr. Naruto? Xiao Li was still dancing on his toes. Naruto pouted, indicating to start anytime. In the stands, Guy had already shed tears of excitement. It's really touching to see my 2 students competing on the same stage and sweating. Yes. Kakashi pushed Guy away in disgust, but looked at Sasuke. Knew it. Although I haven't said a word since I woke up a few days ago. But the fight between these 2 guys still aroused Sasuke's interest. Sharingan is already enabled. Are you recording moves? I'm getting F***ked, Naruto. As soon as Xiao Li said hello, Naruto raised his arms. Whoosh. The next moment, Xiao Li had already sprinted in front of Naruto, a direct sweep. Boom. So fast. In the sealed space, the Minato couple exclaimed at the same time. Naruto silently turned on Shizune mode. Xiao Li's whip kicked heavily, and he carried it down, but his body kept retreating. This kid is better than Guy back then, Minato commented. Shut up. Don't disturb my son's fight. Kushina scratched Minato's eyes fiercely. My son is the strongest, don't talk nonsense if you don't understand. 882. Xiao Li's voice suddenly sounded from under Naruto, followed by a back kick. However, Naruto directly flashed away. At the same time, he raised his knees and went straight to Xiao Li's waist. On the other hand, Xiao Li returned to his figure at a faster speed, and also used his knees to block, but at the same time he punched Naruto. Not to be outdone, Naruto blocked Xiao Li's fist with his palm. You really don't exercise enough, Naruto-kun. No, you have become stronger. Really? It's absolutely true. Swish, the 2 retreated at the same time, opening the distance again. Xiao Li looked at the stands without saying a word. Teacher Guy. Plum. Naruto-kun. Naruto-kun said that I have become stronger. Li. Then you should also respond to Naruto's youth. Mr. Guy. Can I really do it? Come on, Li. Kakashi silently covered his face. What a shame. As for Sasuke, his expression was already extremely serious. The battle between the 2, so fast, he recorded the action with Sharingan, but he doubts he can reproduce it. No wonder, Naruto was able to force that horrible guy away. You can also take him and little Sakura to pass the customs at the fastest speed. So this is your true strength, Naruto. Xiao Li. He silently took out his nunchaku. Be careful, Naruto. Xiao Li kept waving the nunchaku, and said in a serious voice, this is the move that Mr. Guy taught me alone, it's very powerful. Naruto took out a handful of kunai in response. Xiao Li nodded. Then, suddenly charge, ping. Almost instantly, the weapons in the hands of the two collided, making a violent noise. Oh? The third generation in the stands stroked their beard lightly, with a little surprise in their eyes. Are you serious? I saw Xiao Li playing with the nunchaku, switching hands constantly. The frequency of attacking became faster and faster. Naruto was able to cope at first, but soon, when he noticed that the kunai in his hand seemed overwhelmed, he could only dodge. Xiao Li attacked crazily, and Naruto kept dodging. The rhythm on the field was soon dominated by Xiao Li. The stands. Guy was in tears. Kakashi. Chong wins and loses. It looks like I'm going to win. Don't make trouble. Kakashi waved his hand, and looked back at Naruto. His eyes became more serious by 2.3. Naruto hasn't exerted any strength yet. Oh. The voice just fell. Nourishing, Xiao Li's nunchaku stopped in midair. Naruto caught it with one hand, and an electric arc flickered in his hand. The current surged and directly spread to the entire nunchaku. Xiao Li's pupils shrank. He gave up decisively, rolled over and jumped onto the statue. It's dangerous, Naruto-kun. Xiao Li's eyes were full of seriousness. Yeah. Naruto dropped the nunchaku, and the arc on his hand disappeared. If you don't lift the restriction, I will admit defeat. I don't want to hurt you. After Naruto finished speaking, he secretly glanced at the third generation in the distance. Don't you really want to know his level? That's fine. Minato and Kushina seem to be impatient too. As expected, you have lived up to your youth, Naruto-kun. Xiao Li was condescending and opened Shikai to remove the restraints on his legs. Just like that, he took out two unpretentious pieces of lead and held them flat in the air. I've always known it, Naruto-kun. I'm the hard-working type, Sasuke-kun is the genius type, and you have it all. A hard-working genius? This is the best description for you, right? Naruto was expressionless. It's not a good thing to praise him like that in front of third generation. But forget it. Naruto silently opens the spiritual connection. Sure enough, Kushina was boasting that Xiao Li was sensible. This kid, who looks as dumb as Guy, unexpectedly has a good eye. Minato had a smirk on his face. Guy, you're not that dumb, are you? This guy will be very fierce next time. I can still deal with it with a little effort. But after he activates 8 inner gates, I can only use Chakra the Tailed Beast. Naruto's voice sounded in the 8 trigram space. I'll come. Kushina was about to start mobilizing Chakra. 11. But Minato shook his head. Sarutobi Hiruzen is watching, don't be careless, Kushina. As he spoke, he raised his fingers and his figure suddenly disappeared. At the same time, the 9 tails inside the cage also opened their eyes. Minato stood on the head of 9 tails and manipulated 9 tails to stand up. Naruto, the first connection may not be stable, but with 2 tails, it should be fine. Call me anytime. Got it. Naruto looked up at Xiao Li. And at this moment, Xiao Li threw away the lead. When the acceleration of gravity hit the ground, 2 big holes were directly smashed out. Hey, that's a little too much, Guy. Even if it's daily practice, it shouldn't be so outrageous. Kakashi looked helpless. Guy, on the other hand, shook his head slightly. You're wrong, Kakashi. The effect of this kind of exercise method on Xiao Li has long been negligible. He brought this innocence to limit himself. Guy speaks amazingly. Surprise flashed in Kakashi's eyes, and he glanced at Guy. He was indeed pretending to beep, but it didn't look like he was lying. So how far is Xiao Li now? Above the stands. The eyes of third generation rolled around, and they were also a little surprised. Is the restriction lifted? Then Naruto? From beginning to end, Naruto never showed his real strength. Even the information brought back by the root is extremely vague. All I know is that Naruto went berserk and activated the power of the tailed beast. The third generation project is very curious now. Naruto, to what extent? Whoosh! At this time, a black shadow suddenly appeared in the arena. Immediately hit Naruto with a slam. It's Xiao Li. Last second, he was still above the statue tens of meters high, and he rushed to Naruto in an instant. Let's taste the heat of youth together, Naruto. Xiao Li directly knocked Naruto into the air with one punch. On stage, Sasuke's eyes widened on the spot. He drives the Sharingan, but he can't see Ji's movements clearly. What a pervert speed. Fire-style great fireball technique. Naruto obviously didn't suffer any injuries, but took the opportunity to form a seal. It's impossible, Sasuke exclaimed in astonishment. At that speed, Naruto is safe and sound, and he used his tricks. Sasuke couldn't accept it for a while. Kakashi noticed this, and a dodge came up to him. Well, don't be too surprised. This guy didn't steal your technique, it should have been given to him by the Lord Third Generation. Third Generation? Sasuke looked over in astonishment. Yeah. Kakashi breathed out, the number of chakra attributes of this guy is the same as that of the Third Generation Master. It's just that he doesn't seem to have much interest in ninjutsu, and has been doing basic training all the time. Kakashi propped up his dead fish eyes and said, Sasuke's self-esteem might be stimulated again. He can't help it, he can't cover Sasuke's eyes so he can't see it. I can only think of other ways. Well, you know the rules. After this preliminaries are over, you still have 1 month. I don't plan to take care of that guy. Anyway, there is nothing to teach him. If you want, you can practice one-on-one with me. You have your advantages, and there are only 2 people left in this world who can teach you and make use of your advantages. Think about it. After Kakashi finished speaking, he left directly. Sasuke was left with a dull expression. Orochimaru, not far away, has a panoramic view of this scene. The corner of the mouth showed a strange arc. You can't keep Sasuke-kun with only one Sharingan, Kakashi. Back on the field, Xiao Li's speed has already surpassed Naruto's fireball. I saw him running fast non-stop, avoiding the attack range of the fireball. At the same time, Naruto is getting closer and closer. Your fire style is stronger than Sasuke-kun, but I still want to confront you head-on, Naruto-kun. Xiao Li rushed to Naruto again in the blink of an eye. Konoha Bad Yansheng, an elbow, straight to Naruto's chest. Naruto. Kushina, who was watching the battle, roared anxiously. Naruto also narrowed his eyes. Xiao Li 337 is very fast, faster than he imagined. With this speed alone, Xiao Li can be promoted to Jonin. Hard next is not impossible, it's now. Praise. In an instant, the scarlet chakra surrounded Naruto instantly. Xiao Li's elbow was directly blocked by this layer of chakra's coat, and at the same time, a tail condensed by chakra directly stabbed at Xiao Ji. 9 tails chakra 1 tail Minato mode. Xiao Li reacted in an instant, kept rolling and retreating, widening the distance. In the stands, everyone's eyes widened, and Third Generation even stood up straight away. This chakra. Naruto, have you mastered it to this point? Despite only having 1 tail, chakra is so stable it's clearly in full control. Compared with the Third Generation item, Orochimaru is much calmer. He had already seen the child's strength, but think about it now. 3 tails, I'm afraid it's not the limit of this child, right? Everyone's reactions were completely perceived by Naruto. Chakra is very stable, even with 3 tails it should be fine, Naruto. In the sealed space, Minato raised his fingers and stood on 9 tails. Next, as long as the child is not hurt, Naruto felt the surge of chakra in his body. Indeed, with Minato's help, chakra has stabilized too much. The chakra coat, which should be like bubbles, is now like a thin dark red film. All are shocked by Naruto's chakra mode, but Xiao Li was the only exception. On the contrary, he is now full of fighting spirit. Whoosh! Xiao Li lowered his body and began to charge. His speed was much faster, and he obviously didn't use his full strength just now. Coming. In the 8-sign seal space, Minato let out a soft drink. The 9 tails chakra that Naruto encountered suddenly became stronger, and the tail behind him directly stabbed at Xiao Li. Boom! Xiao Li didn't dodge, and directly punched him. The strength of the two sides collided head-on, and there was a muffled sound in the field. Nine Tails Chakra's condensed tail deformed directly, and Xiao Li also retreated several steps. What a strong force! Minato and Xiao Li were amazed at the same time. What surprised Minato was Xiao Li's age. With such strength at such a young age, this child is afraid to practice very hard. And Naruto, together with Xiao Li, practiced under the guidance of Guy. Minato looked at Naruto's back in the sealed space. Suddenly, a little sad. In the case of being targeted, repelled, or even feared. Naruto can still achieve such an achievement. How much effort must be put in? I see. Let chakra replace offense and defense. It fits your personality well, Naruto-kun. Xiao Li shook his forearm, then glanced at Guy quietly. The latter shook his head slightly. Xiao Li understood. Mr. Guy, are you not allowed to use that trick? 2. That trick is used against the enemy. It is used to protect companions. You shouldn't have used that move against Naruto in front of you. Although it is possible to lose now, although I haven't lost yet, Xiao Li suddenly shouted, and then charged again. It's very energetic. The corner of Minato's mouth hooked slightly. Controlling Chakra's tail, condensed into pointed spines. This time Xiao Li did not escape. Instead, after dodging sideways, the speed exploded again at the same time, quickly approaching Naruto. Konoha. Strength whirlwind. Xiao Li's leg was attached to Chakra, and when he was about to rush in front of Naruto, he spun violently, and after the last round kick, he went straight to Naruto's face. Boom. This blow was powerful and directly hit, and the force generated even caused waves of dust and smoke to be blown up. Lee, you didn't lose. It's just me, so desperate to win. The voice just fell. Boom. Two real chakra tails suddenly appeared, rushing out of the dust. One left and one right pounced on Xiao Li. Xiao Li was about to dodge, but found that his ankle had been tightly held by a huge force. He wanted to break free, but found that he couldn't break free at all. Finally, the dust dispersed. Naruto held Li's ankle with one hand. The two tails behind him have bound Xiao Li tightly. Which one is stronger and which one is weaker is already known. I surrender. Xiao Li looked directly into Naruto's eyes. The tone was not unwilling, but a little excited. I've known Naruto-kun for so long, but this is the first time I've seen him use this power. Although I still have a trick that is useless. But even if you use it, Xiao Li shook his head. Not to mention Naruto obviously didn't try his best. And what teacher Guy said, if that trick is used, it is best not to use it in a lifetime. That's good. Cough. Moonlight Gale appeared at the right time, and when it was close to Naruto, the rich chakra made him uncomfortable. But he still endured and announced the result. First set, winner, cough, Uzumaki Naruto. The second group of candidates, please be prepared to ask the two to withdraw. Naruto put Xiao Li down. Let's go, Li. Xiao Li stretched out his fist. Well, next time we have a chance, let's have another real contest. If there is a chance, I must go 10 times. Naruto hesitated for a moment, but still bumped fists with Xiao Li. And at this time, Minato's voice sounded. Naruto, I sense a strong malice. It's Orochimaru in the stands. Don't look at him, just find a chance to touch him later. Naruto was silent for a moment. Is it appropriate to contact him now? As soon as this question was asked, Naruto felt a little redundant. The collapse of Konoha was originally Orochimaru's plan. At first he just wanted to hitch a ride. Now, his car is hitched. But at the same time, he seems to have his own car. And not only the car, but even the driver, and two. Minato has been planning something these days. And when he told them about Orochimaru's general plan, both of them showed a tacit response. Be opposed to. Strongly oppose. Orochimaru's character is not to be trusted. The two have always believed that if you want to use Orochimaru, the risk may be higher than facing Konoha directly. Minato had already proposed to talk to Orochimaru and try it out. Sarutobi Hiruzen has written down your current chakra. It is too risky for you to go. Minato said calmly. Later, you find a place where there is no one to create a shadow clone, and I will pour chakra into it. Naruto was stunned after hearing this. And this operation? It seems that it is really possible. Even if the original body is Nine Tails chakra mode, it can still use shadow clone. Although he is now in the reverse order, theoretically it is definitely possible. Thinking of this, Naruto couldn't help but sigh. He planned for so long, but in the end, the progress was not as good as Minato's planning in less than a week. Really? Salted fish don't deserve emotions. Leave it to Minato. No money. Judging by Minato's behavior, he probably doesn't intend to reconcile with Konoha. Naruto remembers that sentence very clearly. He was going to make Sarutobi Hiruzen look him and Kushina in the eyes, kneel down and apologize. It's not difficult to kill the third generation. The current third generation, even if it is sealed off with ghouls, I am afraid that it will not be able to die with him. This is, after all, the art of the Uzumaki clan. Not to mention that he also has 9 tails inside him that can be topped. But now it seems, just kill the third generation purpose words. Minato and Kushina, it seems that they are not relieved. Never mind. Naruto raised his eyebrows and strode toward the stands faintly. Who cares? It's a day to eat salty radishes and lighten your worries. It was a day watching the Minato show operate. Anyway, now 9 tails belongs to Minato and Kushina. How about love? No role anymore. No need. If it doesn't work, he will use the big pillar formwork. The Buddha sweeps the floor.